time to create myself a herb garden. So using a combination of the, well, what I like and a little bit of companion planting and so forth, I'm going to take this garden bed, which is pretty well done its dash now, rebuild it, get it back into good condition, and then plant a whole heap of herbs in that. And stick with me and I'll take you through it and show you what I come up with. So if you've seen any of my previous videos about building up my garden, you know that I have had a whole heap of things growing in here before. It was a beautiful big lush green area. So basically it's all done its dash now, it's all gone, and the soil is pretty dry and well, it's lacking in its nutrients and so forth now because it's used it all up. So now I'm going to rebuild it. Put down some good compost, some manure, some coconut coir. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I just put some old herbs and spices in there just because, well, why not? And basically build that up so that it holds moisture nicely and it gets nice and fertile again. Rebuild all those nutrients that have basically been gone. So basically one of the first steps I'm going to do after making sure I've got rid of all of the weeds and grass and so forth that's growing in there that I don't want in there, going to get a garden fork, basically dig it up a bit, loosen it all up a bit before I add anything else in there, because, well, it's going to be really painful sort of stirring it up and getting it all in there nicely when it's rock hard. So first, unless basically you don't need to do that step if it's already nice and loose anyway. So now that I've done that, that's achieved a couple of things. So first and foremost, loosen the soil up a bit for me so that's easy to dig in and mix up when I'm putting the good quality stuff in there to build it back up. The other is it's given me a better idea of the quality. There's quite a lot of worms still in there, which is a very good sign. And it's also loosened up and exposed some of the fresh roots that still exist from some of the plants that were there that I can basically pull out and get rid of some of that as well, because I don't want those particular ones growing back or holding any further diseases, etc., that may or may not still be there and potentially cause me issues. So the next step's quite a simple one. Basically at this point now I basically want to put in all of the organic matter there to build it back up again. So I've got coconut coir, which no idea if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but that's really good for bulking it up. It holds moisture really well. It's hygroscopic, so it'll actually absorb moisture rather than repel it. So if it does dry out too much and I water it, it'll actually suck the moisture back in, so it makes it easier to get moisture back into the soil again. Then I'm going to put some manure and some basic compost and so forth in there to get organic matter in there and everything happening quite nicely. And just throw in a little bit of fertilizer as well, just for good measure. Give it a good mix in so that basically if I overdo it, I want to make sure it's evenly overdone and not like super concentrated areas in there. And all in all, I think I'm going to get myself something relatively good. There are obviously better and worse ways to do it, but as I said, good enough is good enough. So just in case you're interested, in this particular bed I've used 2 bricks that are supposed to do about 15 litres each, so it's about 30 litres of coconut coir is apparently the correct pronunciation. I got frustrated and decided to actually look that up, so coir. So that's basically how it is. So essentially it's a coconut fibre, and as I mentioned before, very good at holding moisture but not wet. So a good wetting agent, for want of a better word. You can also get seed raising mixes of it as well, which I'm going to use in and see how that goes also, but not on the bed itself. I'll use it as a seed mix. So now I'll basically add in some of the manure and so forth and see how we go there. So I've dug in a combination of different manures, some compost and the coconut coir into the garden, give it a bit of a water so it's got moisture in there. I dug up my leggy rosemary and given it a good trim back and replanted it down the end here. So as you can see, that should grow back nice and healthy. Just got to make sure that the transplant shock, put a bit of sea salt or something down there for the roots, and that should be quite happy. All right, looking a little bit better now. So there I've got my rosemary, I've got chives, lemon thyme, because I prefer that to the normal thyme. Scatter that around, sage, Yet another plant that you can do from cuttings very happily. Some more chives, a bit more rosemary, some more sage, lemon thyme, garlic chives, some older ones that I transplanted, some younger garlic chives there, some more lemon thyme, oregano, also yet another wonderful herb that you can do from cuttings as well, very easy to propagate. Alright, there we go. Now that herb garden, now it's finally complete. Everything's starting to settle in and perk back up again. Some rosemary, which I've got a video on you can look at. Sage, it's a nice relatively recent video I've posted there. Thyme, got a couple of varieties of chives, video there you can watch for those as well. I've got basil. This is one of the perennial varieties. Another variation of thyme there as well, just so it's not all one thing. Oregano, video you can check out for that as well. Alright, I'll post some updates once this is sort of really perked up and starting to take over, and see how that one goes for you. After having given it some time, here is my nicely established herb garden. Garlic chives, oregano, perennial basil, thyme, different variety of thyme, sage, parsley, perennial basil, normal chives, more sage, more thyme, normal chives, rosemary.